Hello again, everybody. Welcome back to my second Manga Monday, where today I am drawing a page from Erased. Now, I first was introduced to Erased by my roommate in college, Ava, and we watched the show together. Binged is more like it. I was not prepared for the level of intensity that show went to. I really like mystery series, but sometimes murder mysteries can be a bit much for me. But this one kind of surprised me because it was a murder mystery, but it also had a time travel element. And time travel can be tricky, and sometimes I don't like it that much. But in this one, I think the premise of the story made it work really well. So here's the general rundown of the story and like the synopsis of it. Satoru Fujinuma is the main character. He's a 29-year-old who wants to be a manga artist, but unfortunately isn't getting very far with his dream. He also has this special ability, he calls it revival, and basically it kicks in whenever there is something that he needs to change. It'll send him a couple of seconds to a couple of minutes back in time so that he can stop the catastrophe from happening. And one day, it actually sends him back years and years to when he was 11 years old, so that he can stop a string of murders from happening and save some of his classmates who were killed by this child serial killer. So the page I chose to draw is when he is reunited with one of his childhood friends, Kaio Hinazuki, one of the girls that he's trying to save from the serial killer. And I was going to just kind of analyze what's happening. So there's 4 panels total, and the layout is actually pretty simple if you think about it. It's her saying hello to him, and his reaction to seeing her, him being like super surprised. And the bottom panel is her saying no, basically cautioning him not to run towards her. And in the next page, you'll see why he's about to run into traffic. But I think the simple layout works really well. And the art style is also very simple. In fact, this mangaka, I think he has... Well, I have a more similar style to him than pretty much any other of the mangakas that I've studied. And you'll notice that mostly his drawings are all black and white, and he does use shading to some effect, but it's mostly for the scenes that are super intense or like high stakes, high emotion. So in this page that I chose, that panel would be the third one, when Satoru is running forward. He decided, and you'll see me draw it later, but he decided to shade the whole body, like shade Satoru's whole body, but leave his eyes, the only thing that's white, to draw emphasis to his eyes and his shock at seeing Hinazuki. Also, the shadows in the basic panels, without the high intensity motion, you'll see just lines used to indicate where the shadows should be. And I think that's a really good technique because it doesn't detract from the rest of the drawing. I also think the character designs are just super adorable in this. Kaio's eyes, you'll see, are drawn a little differently than Satoru's. She has more narrow eyes, and there's lines on them probably to show that her eyes are a different color than his, because Satoru's are all blacked out until he's surprised, and then they're whited out, which is another technique I really like that shows emotion. But yeah, this story is one I would definitely check out if you haven't watched the show, but I would put a warning label on it. If you don't like seeing scenes of distress, then you might have some trouble with it. And if you don't like murder mysteries, I completely understand. But this one does have some childlike innocence in it because it's a story at its heart about a 29-year-old who gets the second chance to relive a piece of his childhood. And it's just kind of nostalgic for me reading it. Not that Satoru grew up in the 1980s and I'm not that old, but to me it feels like it reminds you to look back at your childhood and cherish the moments you had with your family and friends, and to just think of the good things. Because Satoru swears that this time around he's not going to waste any time, and he's going to spend as much time with his friends and family as possible, and he's going to do everything within his power to save Kaio and the other children who were affected by the murders. I also think there's great characterization. I love all of the characters in the story, but I think Satoru is the perfect protagonist. He's very kind and caring, but you can see his thoughts, and if he has ulterior motives, you will see that play out, although I think he's pretty pure. And I really like seeing him as a 29-year-old trying to navigate being a child again, because it is a complete culture shock, basically. And there are things he has to remember to do and remember not to do. Because I think in stories we've seen plenty of kids who get shocked to the future where they have to act like an adult. But this is the reverse of that. But yeah, I really hope you like this speed paint, and it's not going to be too long because the page is pretty simple, but it was so fun to draw, and I can't wait to finish reading the rest of Erased. And I guess I'll see you next time. If you have any requests, let me know. And as always, I will include a link to where you can commission me if you would like a manga page of your own. But I'll see you next time. Bye!